Welcome to Mossin Annie's YouTube channel. Sometimes your moss garden might be under attack by critters, and the resulting disaster may make you freak out.
This is horrible!
But not to worry. In the first part, we'll show you how to repair critter damage, and in the second part, how to prevent future occurrences using netting. Join me in welcoming Rodney Holcomb, my mossin buddy, friend, and moderator of Mountain Moss's Facebook group, Go Green with Moss, as he shares our recommended moss solutions. Sounds like rain coming to me.
Yep. All right, get your camera in.
Yeah. My
Well.
phone.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
coming. It is coming.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's fast.
Well, this is going to make it fun. We've got a big chunk here and a big chunk there. And you brought the rain because you said, and I quote, "It's not going to rain today. It's clearing up." And I thought, what a silly thing to say. So here we are, folks.
Lesson
We're
to
just
be
gonna-
learned. The rain tent is saying it's not going to rain.
It's
Not,
not gonna
please
rain."
come rain. It's thinking it won't. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some more help here to finish up. And we'll do the ride right now. Hey, what happened here? Hey, Robin. Oh, it was some kind of a critter. We don't even know what kind.
Can we fix it?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey everybody, this is Rodney Holcomb with Go Green with Moss, and I am joined here today by Gwen, our fabulous camera person, and Mossin Annie sitting behind Gwen in her directorial chair. And what we're going to do today is demonstrate how to lay down netting when your moss has been attacked by critters. So here are the supplies that you're going to need. This is Stay Green wildlife netting you can get at the big box stores. These are the pins that you use to secure the netting. You
Or
can,
Staples.
or staples, as Annie's yelling. You can knock these staples down with a mallet, and if you hit something harder, you can use a manly size hammer. Or you can use an Annie size hammer. And then when you are all done, you'll need a pair of scissors. So the first step is to take your wildlife netting. This moss netting folds out to 7 feet wide. So what we did is we ran a section of the netting from the back of the bed forward that was 7 feet wide and the length of this moss bed. Annie stood on one end of the moss bed, and I was on the other end pulling tightly. Then you put your staples or pins, whatever you want to call them. I guess they call them landscape pins. You put your pins down about halfway through to just begin to tighten up the netting because you want your netting really tight. Critters can still get through this netting if they're really determined, but what the netting does is aggravates them. It protects your moss by giving them a barrier that they don't easily dig through. So they're going to move on and find some other section. So you lay your netting down. It's great to have two people because one person can pull while the other begins to pin, and you pin around the edges from one end towards the next. Now, as you can see in this moss bed, it's not flat. There's a lot of undulation in this moss bed. So what we have done to emphasize that undulation is we'll take a pin, take our handy mallet, knock the pin down, and see, I hit a rock or something, maybe a root. You can continue to hit it with the mallet, and that pulls the netting down so it retains the natural undulation of the ground. I personally like that. You can also just leave it flat, and over time, eventually your mosses will grow through this netting and come up. Now, here are the locations of some of our pins. The reason they are further out from the edge of the bed is these moss boulders actually travel in a couple of feet deep. Okay, everybody, so now we have laid our netting across the moss bed. We've put all of our pins around the edges, pulled it tight, put our pins throughout the moss netting so that it will really help repel the creatures. And one of your last steps is, after you've hammered in all these pins that you see around here, and you hammer them in, folks, just so you don't see them, because you still want the beauty of your moss bed. So after you've completed that, and you may be able to see this netting, this is a very fine netting. The openings of these squares are probably about 1/2 inch. You just take a nice sharp pair of scissors and you go around the edge behind where your pins are and just gently cut to the contours of your rocks and moss bed. So these are the simple steps to lay down moss netting to protect from really severe damage. And Gwen's got some great photographs of another moss bed that was really severely damaged by critters. I'm not talking about just the occasional little a bird flies off with a chunk of moss, or maybe a squirrel digs up a 2-inch or 3-inch circle. I'm talking about massive critter damage that really could ruin a moss garden. I also want to be really clear. This is a lot of hard work. You're outside, it's hot, you're getting eaten up by mosquitoes, and you're typically on your all fours or crawling around, but it is well worth the effort.
I got that last spot. Oh,
Great.
good, Robin.
Thanks, Robin.
Yay!
Well, it's coming along.
Yeah.
It went pretty fast.
It wasn't bad.
It's
And
not bad at all.
it's repaired now, so you can let it grow in from here. You've been so successful to have this fill in within a year from using pancake-sized pieces. What do you think?
I'm not doing this damage again, coming out and looking at a moss bed that looks like a rototiller went through it. I think it's time to net. We won't net this strip up against the driveway that they didn't touch, because that's all Thuidium and Atricum and Polytricum all on stone, and I think they just didn't want to dig around. But in this soft part. All right, everybody, so here we're at the end of the day. We've got a nice gem of rain. So I just want to recap that we started out with an absolute disaster. The raccoons and the skunks had a great time with this moss bed. They went wild, they tore it up. But with good friends, Annie, Gwen, Robin, we came back out, we laid it all out, pieced it back together, spread it out where there were bare spots, cleaned it up, we've covered with netting, and now we're just attaching the netting to the staples, because truthfully, folks, we don't want to be doing this for a second time. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care and have a great day mossing.
Thumbs up. All right.
Actually,
That looks great.
hey, Rodney,
Hey,
I'm so happy to be back here again.
me too.
I am
absolutely amazed. How long's it been since we repaired the critter damage?
What, 2 to 3 months?
Not even 2
Huh?
months at the
Yeah.
most.
I think you're right. And it's all stitched together and
It's grown back together. It's almost solid in most places.
And you really don't see the netting.
No, you don't. But you can see that the netting not only served to help hold the mosses in place, but it makes it pretty easy to blow the leaves away too, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Great job.
Thank you. And thanks for your help. And yours, Gwen. And help to Robin and Rita.